Grand Rapids, Michigan is located on the Grand River about 30 miles east of Lake Michigan. Grand Rapids evolved around a historic furniture manufacturing. The area was founded in 1826 and incorporated in 1850, but it was late in the history of the Grand Rapids area before there was an organized fire department. In 1880, the city of Grand Rapids built their fifth fire station, Engine House No. 5, at the corner of Monroe Avenue and Leonard Northwest, and at the east bank of the Grand River. At the time of her construction, she gleamed in white brick with red courses, complete with a decorative parapet wall and turrets. Engine House No. 5 was constructed with clay brick, 24-inch thick walls in the front and 18-inch thick walls in the sides and rear. The main floor housed the horses, stables, steam engine, and hose cart. The second floor dormitory housed a dozen or more beds, chairs, and tables. The interior walls were lined with wooden lockers for storage of the firefighters' gear. The station also boasted a tower overlooking the village. The 90-foot tower consisted of two upper-level watch floors and an open cupola at the top to watch for fires across the village. The tower also included an open shaft for hanging the hoses to dry after alarms. Matched team of horses drew the steamer and hose wagon to the fires. The horses were kept in stables directly behind the apparatus on the main floor. When the fire alarm sounded, the firefighters would make their way from the second floor dormitory to the main floor using the slide poles situated on each side of the engine house. The department became motorized after the gasoline motor car had developed into a reliable means of propulsion. In 1910, Engine House No. 5 was the first fire station in the fire department to receive a motorized apparatus, a 1910 Oldsmobile fitted to carry hose. This apparatus was designated as Hose Cart No. 5. This marked the beginning of the end of the horse era. 1920 was the year the Grand Rapids Fire Department retired the last horse from the fire service, leaving vacant horse stables and haylofts across the city. The men of Engine House No. 5 made use of the vacant space and used the row of wooden lockers lining the interior wall adjacent to the closed-off hayloft for a unique opportunity. The back wall of one of the lockers was cut out to create a hidden passageway into a secret room once used as the hayloft. This secret room was a great place for the firefighters to lounge. By 1928, not only had Engine House No. 5 changed from horse-drawn to mechanical, gone was the open cupola at the top of her watchtower, replaced by a simple roof. The once gleaming white brick of her exterior was painted over with a dull red paint. The horse stalls at the rear of the main floor were removed to make space for equipment and larger trucks and engines. The late 1940s brought more changes to the structure of Engine House No. 5. Much like the fate of the cupola, the watchtower's second story was removed, and the large face clock was installed in its place. It was the responsibility of the station rookie to wind the clock once a week. By 1950, Engine House No. 5 was home of one of two Grand Rapids American LaFrance 100-foot ladder trucks and Ladder Company No. 5. Unfortunately, after a century of service, Engine House No. 5 was scheduled for demolition by the city of Grand Rapids to make way for a new fire station. In a lunch meeting with Chief Robert Viet of the Grand Rapids Fire Department, Jeff Dupilka, president of West Shore Fire and lifetime fire buff, learned of the planned fate of the worn-out engine house. After touring the decommissioned station, Dupilka gathered friends and fellow firefighting enthusiasts and formulated a plan to save and relocate the building. Dupilka saw the fire station as a perfect place to showcase his hundreds of pieces of old firefighting memorabilia he has collected over the years, including a 1938 American LaFrance pumper he received on his 13th birthday. After lengthy negotiation, Dupilka convinced the city to sell him the building for a sum of $1. The offer to purchase the old firehouse was approved by the city of Grand Rapids in September 1981 with one stipulation. The entire structure had to be torn down and removed in the next 10 weeks. After the purchase, no time was lost in making arrangements. DePilka immediately called upon the services of an architect to take measurements and draw up plans for guidance in the rebuilding process. Dismantling began in October 1981. For the next 10 weeks, as winter approached, a crew of 12 to 15 laborers worked 8 to 10 hours per day, 7 days a week, under the supervision of John Bosch. The workers started with the removal of the roof and worked their way down to the ground brick by brick and board by board. Each day, bricks were chipped away, cleaned, and loaded onto pallets. Trucks ran round the clock, transporting the reusable material to the reconstruction site some 20 miles away. DePilka recalled the most difficult task was dismantling the watchtower because the bricks were interlaced. On one Saturday alone, it took 10 workers about 8 hours to take apart just 4 feet of the tower. The dismantling was complete in 10 weeks and 2 days at an estimated cost of removal of around $20,000. It was quite a feat to disassemble, clean, stack, and move such a huge quantity of bricks and materials in such a short amount of time. The building materials were stored for almost 2 years before the reconstruction of Engine House No. 5 started in the summer of 1983. Workers started with the construction of the foundation, followed by laying bricks in the front, side, and rear walls. To identify exact locations of the original doors, windows, and ornamentation, planners examined old photographs and counted brick courses to establish placement in the reconstructed building. Since the exterior walls of the original station were painted red and the finish was weathered from 100 years of exposure, builders turned the bricks inside out to show the original white finish. The crowning touch to the reconstruction was the day the crane lifted the final piece into place. The wooden cupola was positioned atop of the watchtower in June of 1984 to mark the completion of the rebuild. The exterior of Engine House No. 5 was reconstructed to match the original 1880 configuration. The interior of the building is currently being utilized as a museum dedicated to firefighting history. The main floor watch office is dedicated to the history of Engine House No. 5 and those who served within her. Amongst pieces of firefighting equipment, the watch house is adorned with photographs of the firefighters, machines, and the old station through her years of service. Behind the main floor watch office is the hose tower and watchtower access shaft. From here, visitors can climb the 85 steps of the spiral staircase to reach the upper watchtower floors, or simply look up to view the open shaft where hoses were hung to dry. The main floor engine bays are home to several machines. The focal piece for many is the horse-drawn Silsbee steam fire engine. The Silsbee steam fire engine No. 536 was built in 1876 and purchased by the Benton Harbor Fire Department. Joining the Silsbee on the main floor are a 1928 American LaFrance pumper, a 1929 Aaron's Fox pumper, and a 1948 Aaron's Fox pumper. Displays of fire helmets, nozzles, extinguishers, leather buckets, uniforms, and memorabilia are now located where the horse stalls once occupied the rear of the building. The slide poles once used by the firefighters coming down from the dormitory are now attached on each side of the main floor engine bay. The second floor displays a hand pumper manufactured by Umpharium Thayer of Boston, Massachusetts. This hand pumper was manufactured in 1836 and was nicknamed the Rapid. This hand pumper was used by the Plymouth, Massachusetts Fire Department. Also sharing the second floor is an extremely rare hose carriage manufactured by the Edward B. Leverage Company in Brooklyn, New York. This carriage was built in the 1870s by the Natick, Massachusetts Fire Department. The Leverage Company only made carriages for approximately 10 years. The second floor also showcases a large collection of early means of communication for the fire service. These items include wood rattlers, alarm boxes, repeaters, indicators, a power supply board, several other alarm-related pieces, and lanterns. A display wall of early photographs of firehouses, fire apparatus, and fires in the Grand Rapids area from the late 1800s to mid-1900s is also located on the second floor. People visiting this museum will be extremely impressed with the care given to display and preservation of unique fire memorabilia. This museum provides a great opportunity for visitors to learn about innovation, dedication, history, and appreciation for early architecture and preservation techniques. If you're ever in the Grand Rapids area, please make it a point to visit Engine House No. 5 Museum.